Okay, we'll try to cover two important topics. First is pineal gland and the other is a thymus gland. Okay, you have been studying endocrines. Okay, you have done major hormones, glands, etc. Now we'll start with pineal gland. What is pineal gland? Okay, what is the structure? Then what is the main hormone released by it? What are its functions? If you all know, you may come here and present the presentation very nicely. Okay, if you have the idea of part, कौन बैठा आपके पास? हाँ. Is there any need to mimic it? बात चलती जाती continuously. इसका concept भी ले लोगे ना, so at least you can write something in your copies. You are having another exam. Okay, they are going to come. At least you will be able to write the content. Concept should be there in your mind, that what is the thing and what can you write and get your marks. Okay, it is not only that you have to pass. Okay, already the attendance is less than 50%. Okay, so we'll start with this. We'll have a concept regarding the pineal gland. What are the nervous system which are activating it, and what is the main function performed by the pineal gland? As the name implies, pineal, okay, it is a cone pine shaped structure. It is placed near the hypothalamus, okay, and it has a major role in your sleep wake cycle. Clear? It is a major role in your sleep wake cycle. This is the latest research going on these topics. Okay, these are the local hormones. Okay, major hormones you have already studied, and they are affecting all over the body. Okay, but these two glands, they are responsible for functioning locally or controlling one or the other system or the organ only. Clear? They are the unpaired structure. Okay, small flattened pine and cone shape lying between the superior colliculi. Okay, attached to it with pineal stalk. Weight is roughly 150 milligram and length is 1 centimeter. It arises as an invagination of the roof of third ventricle and surrounded by a capsule. Name pineal gland. So the cells present in the pineal gland are known as pinealocytes. Okay, composed of numerous lobules, rich vascular supply, but not protected by blood-brain barrier. Okay, the cells which are present in this are parenchymal, known as pineocytes, and neuroglia, astrocytes, macrophages, and mast cells. Above 50 is on X-ray, it is shown as calcification. So as the age progresses, the pineal gland changes or calcified. Okay. Now, how does it work? This is interesting. You may get the functioning or the mechanism of action of pineal gland. For functioning of this pineal gland, you need to have a coordination between the hypothalamus, okay, especially the suprachiasmatic nucleus of hypothalamus, paraventricular nucleus, lateral gray column, okay, superior cervical ganglion, and finally it is going to affect the pineal gland. Okay, so just if you have a short note on pineal gland, short note on sleep wake cycle, short note on your biological rhythm or the circadian rhythm or diurnal variation. Okay, you have options. So if you get questions based on this particular topic, the content which you have to write down is how the functioning of pineal gland takes place, how the melatonin which is getting secreted by this gland is responsible for the mechanism. So this gland is mainly affected by the sympathetic nervous system. Okay, what part of the nervous system is affecting this pineal gland is the sympathetic nervous system. What is the chemical that is getting released from the sympathetic nervous is norepinephrine. Okay, so you have to remember the things which are major or main importance to the pineal gland. how we are going to concise the concept of the pineal gland in just 15 minutes and what we can write in a question. But the question may vary. It may come on sleep-wake cycle, it may come on your biological clock, it may come on circadian rhythm, it may come on diurnal variation. Okay, so the diurnal variation is proper daylight and darkness. So depending on the daylight or the darkness, the concentration in the blood of the melatonin varies. And this variation of melatonin concentration during 24-hour cycle is mainly regulated by the sympathetic nervous system, which is affecting the pineal gland, and what it is releasing norepinephrine. So during daytime, the secretion of norepinephrine is less. During darkness or night, the secretion of norepinephrine is more. This secretion variation results into the formation of melatonin, which is taking place in the pineal gland with the help of pineocytes. The main component required for melatonin formation is tryptophan. ठीक है, pineal gland का क्या function है? Secretion of melatonin. Secretion of melatonin is responsible for your sleep-wake cycle. But this sleep-wake cycle, okay, that is melatonin secretion, starts from which chemical? From tryptophan. And this tryptophan, formation of tryptophan to melatonin is getting affected by norepinephrine. And norepinephrine, it is coming from the stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system. Okay? ठीक है? पर सबसे पहला आप इस फ्लो चार्ट में देखिए, इनोवेटेड बाय पोस्ट गैंग्लियोनिक सिंपैथेटिक फाइबर्स फ्रॉम सुपीरियर सर्वाइकल गैंग्लियन. इसके अंदर सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट रोल क्या है? आईज का. ओके, व्हाट आर द फोटोरिसेप्टर्स प्रेजेंट इन आवर आई? rods and cones. Okay, so for any reflex mechanism or for any action, okay, we need to have a receptor, we need to have a stimuli. Okay, so during day or daylight exposure, there is continuous exposure of sunlight. Okay, so that will give the stimulation resulting into action potential. This action potential will reach to the suprachiasmatic nucleus of hypothalamus. Okay, but during daytime, what is the effect to be brought down? Decrease in the secretion of melatonin. So the action potentials which are generated from the rods and cones through the nervous system coming to the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, okay, they will be inhibited or restricted. It will send the signals through the lateral gray column to the superior cervical ganglion, and from cervical ganglion it will go to the pineal gland. ये डायरेक्ट नहीं होगा कि हाइपोथैलेमस के पास में है तो डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन है, नहीं, हाइपोथैलेमस के बाद में लेटरल ग्रे कॉलम के थ्रू इट विल गो टू द सुपीरियर सर्वाइकल गैंग्लियन और फिर वहां से इसका पीनियल ग्लैंड तक अप्रोच रहेगा. बट ड्यूरिंग डे टाइम द एक्शन पोटेंशियल्स विल बी लो, एंड व्हाट विल हैपन ड्यूरिंग द नाइट? The action potential will be stimulatory in action, release of more norepinephrine. So this release of norepinephrine जो होता है ना, वो pineal gland के cells के receptor पे जाके combine करेगा, stimulate करेगा. Chemicals which are present in the pineal gland is tryptophan. With the help of enzymatic reaction, the tryptophan going from sequence of events results into the formation of melatonin. This melatonin will again go back to suprachiasmatic nucleus and reset the biological clock or the circadian rhythm. तो आपके जो मोबाइल स्क्रीन पे या आपके लैपटॉप पे ब्लू फिल्टर्स हैं, ठीक है? I think everybody applies nowadays. They are having blue filters in the lens or glass or screens, but that blue filter is also affecting your sleep-wake cycle. Clear? Other than the sleep-wake cycle, the melatonin has number of functions. Clear? So the type of question on pineal gland may be, I have already told you 4 types, but the content you have to write is the how the melatonin formation takes place, what is the stimulus which is responsible for increase in the secretion of melatonin, and what is the stimulus which is responsible for decrease in the melatonin secretion. After melatonin formation, it again goes back to the suprachiasmatic nucleus of hypothalamus, okay, and there the reset of the biological clock takes place. Clear? Hi, Anna. This is also known as the third eye. This is also known as the third eye. It has a role in meditation also. Okay, so its applied aspect will come in different categories, and what are the other functions brought about with the help of melatonin or the pineal gland. Okay, so through paraventricular nucleus of hypothalamus, preganglionic, sympathetic trunk, superior cervical ganglion, axons, enterothecal, and pineal gland. Norepinephrine is released and is secreted and regulated by the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It has intrinsic activity during night, more release of norepinephrine in night, more activity in pineal gland. Daylight suppresses the suprachiasmatic nucleus via retinohypothalamic path. Okay, retina, through the retina, maximum receptors कहाँ पे present होते हैं? Rods and cones are present on the retina. Okay, the innermost layer of the eye. Okay, so maximum they are present over there, and which will give signals decrease in norepinephrine and decrease in the pineal activity. इसमें कोई confusion नहीं होना चाहिए, increase or decrease. और stimulus क्या है हमारा? Light and darkness. What happens in areas where there is no light for 6 months? What will happen? बताओ. Pineal gland is more activated, है ना? तो ये एक बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है मैकेनिज्म जिसमें कि हमें pineal gland को एक बैलेंस बना के रखना पड़ता है. ना तो ओवर सिक्रीशन ऑफ norepinephrine is good, neither the lesser secretion of norepinephrine is good. So a balance is maintained, and if this balance gets disturbed, there are pathological conditions. Normal balance results into normal physiological conditions, normal sleep-wake cycle, which is very rare nowadays. Okay, previously it was very normal. Okay, but now with as the technology is booming, okay, with the help of social media, maximum 99% of the present students, they are not having their sleep-wake cycle proper. ठीक है, इस पे चाहे एक फीडबैक करवा दें अपन, एक फॉर्म भी भरवा देना तो पता चल जाएगा कि आपको. एंड योर स्लीप क्वालिटी इज डिटेरियोरेटेड. A small notification of WhatsApp, Insta, that will change the deep cycle. Cycle जो होती है ना sleep की, जो इतने variations होते हैं, ठीक है, तो वो sleep pattern आपका drastically is getting affected, and this effect of sleep cycle is not only affecting the sleep cycle, it is affecting the other areas also. It is affecting the reproductive system. It is affecting the gonadal system. Okay. Not only this, it is affecting your digestive system. All the systems are getting affected because there is tremendous deterioration of this sleep-wake cycle. ठीक है? 90s, 80s में जब कुछ social media नहीं था तो automatically the lights switch off हो जाती हैं 10-11 बजे. Now in present scenario, your day starts after 11 or 10 a.m. 10 p.m. sorry, है ना? क्लास में हम सोते हैं, रात में हम जगते हैं. दिस इज प्रेजेंट सिनेरियो. इसको हम वो नहीं कर सकते, ये आप लोगों की लाइफस्टाइल कह लो, जो भी कह लो, ये है. बट दिस इज गोइंग टू इफेक्ट योर फिजियोलॉजी, रिजल्टिंग इनटू pathological changes. You are quite mature. समझो तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, नहीं तो वाह, ठीक है. So the main hormone is melatonin. Which mechanism it acts? I suppose you have understood the mechanism action of hormones, second messenger and other mechanisms of hormones. Okay. So this is acting to the cyclic AMP pathway, and by the help of this particular enzyme resulting from tryptophan to melatonin. This is the mechanism, cyclic AMP. Secretion of melatonin is rhythmic, high during night and low during day-night. Seasonal variation are also there. In case of winters, the dark period is longer compared to the daytime. So there will be seasonal variation of secretion of melatonin. Okay. Winters, long night, short day. Therefore, more secretion in winter than summer. Concentrated in blood, saliva and CSF follows same variation. In serum remain bound to albumin. So how it is present? It is present in serum bounded with albumin but cannot cross the blood-brain barrier. Degraded and conjugated where? In liver. Okay. What are the factors which affect the sleep-wake cycle? Is the receptors and the mechanism necessary for growth. Okay. What happens just after birth in case of newborn babies? What is the 24-hour cycle or the biological clock? In newborn babies, the maximum out of 24 hours, approximately 15 to 16 hours sleep, that is responsible for their growth. Okay. So just after birth or in case of newborn babies, the pattern of sleep-wake cycle is different. As the age progresses, the sleep-wake cycle changes. Okay. With the age, the melatonin secretion formation also changes. So after the age of 50, 60 years, the sleeping hours starts to decrease. Okay. The calcification of this pineal gland also takes place with the aging process, and therefore there is decrease in the sleep duration as the person ages. But these are all physiological phenomena. Okay. Age हो गया, exercise, rise during and after exercises, menstrual cycle at mid-menstrual phase and less at nocturnal rise. Functions throughout the life, act as a photoperiod informer. Reproduction suppresses the gonadotropins. Therefore, increased secretion during pregnancy and parturition. Tossus placenta may provide photoperiod information to fetus. Okay. Therefore, decreases, ये इसके एंडोक्राइनल इफेक्ट्स हैं कि ये बाकी हार्मोन्स के ऊपर क्या क्या इफेक्ट लाता है. ठीक है. ये हो गया हमारा पीनियल ग्लैंड का क्वेश्चन, जो कि आपको करना है कवर विद इन 10 मिनट्स. ओके. Now, in case of thymus gland, okay, it is considered as school for teaching the lymphocytes, especially the T lymphocytes, which are known as the T precursor cells. And these T precursor cells, when they enter into the thymus gland, okay, there it enters as if they are entering into the school. There the thymus, okay, teaches the T lymphocytes, okay, to categorize themselves, proliferate and maturation takes place. Selection of T lymphocyte takes place in the thymus gland. This selection mechanism takes place, and if the precursor T lymphocyte fails to pass this testing mechanism, okay, there are two selection criteria, plus selection or negative selection. So the pre-T lymphocytes, this is the precursor lymphocytes, they have to go through a testing mechanism which will test it that is appropriate to function or help in the immunity system or not. Okay. So this training of precursor T lymphocyte takes place in the thymus gland. Where it is present? In their mediastinal cavity, okay, just slightly above the heart, in between your two lungs, okay, they are present in a bilobe structure, okay, and at the time of birth and till the age of puberty. क्या हुआ? No, maximum size takes place till the puberty, and after puberty the size of the thymus gland regresses and it slowly diminishes. Okay, this is just information regarding the thymus gland. Okay, now what is the hormone that is getting secreted by this? It is not a single hormone, thymosin. It releases number of chemicals, the protein chemicals, and they are categorized by different names. But for convenience, we are saying that it is thymosin which is getting secreted. But it has minimum 5 chemicals, okay? They are made up of proteins. They are getting secreted by the thymus gland. But for convenience, we are saying that it is thymosin which is getting secreted and which will be helping in the learning mechanism of T lymphocytes. Okay, where are the precursor T lymphocytes formed? And during the embryonic life? During the embryonic life, yolk sac, then till what time it is getting formed in the yolk sac? And after 3 months what happens? Maturation? No. Another is liver, hepatic stage. Okay, that is the site where the further hematopoiesis takes place. Okay, then after birth it is in the bone marrow, that is the red bone marrow. Okay, the zygote is the only cell which is totipotent. Okay, and stem cell is, so what's the difference between pluripotent and totipotent? Zygote is the only cell which is capable of forming different organs, tissue, the whole body. Okay, so it has the capability to form any cell. Whereas pluripotent hemopoietic stem cells, it has the capability of form number of cells, but not all cells. Pluri means many. Pluripotent hemopoietic stem cells. Pluri means many. Okay, so this hemopoietic pluripotent stem cell, it is capable of forming different blood cells, and this pluripotent stem cell gives rise to lymphoid stage and the myeloid stage. Lymphoid stage is responsible for the formation of lymphocytes. The lymphocytes, they are categorized into T and B lymphocytes. The B lymphocytes, they are named after the bursa fabricus remains in the bone marrow, whereas the T lymphocytes, which are present in the bone marrow, they are known as the precursor T lymphocytes, because their maturation has not taken place. For the maturation, the thymosin, which is getting secreted from the thymus gland through circulation, reaches to the bone marrow. Through the blood supply, these precursor cells will enter into the thymus gland. When it enters into the thymus gland has the subcapsular region, cortex, intramedullary, then medullary region. So there the thymocytes, the epithelial thymocytes are present, and they will do the training process of these lymphocytes. तो जो lymphocytes में बोल रही हूँ, मतलब precursor lymphocytes which enters into the thymus gland with the help of epithelial thymocytes. Okay, what will happen? There will be change in the DNA configuration of the cell. ठीक है, ऐसे कैसे अगर T lymphocyte आ गया precursor, तो आ गया, enter कर गया, पर उसका maturation कब तक नहीं होगा? जब तक उसका DNA जो है अंदर का वो चेंज नहीं होगा, उसके अंदर उसका थोड़ा सा चेंज होगा, एंड व्हाट विल हैपन, देयर विल बी द रिसेप्टर्स व्हिच विल अराइज ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर सेल। वो रिसेप्टर्स जो होते हैं वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल होते हैं फर्दर चेंजेस के लिए कि वो एंटीजन को एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं या नहीं। दैट एंटीजन रिसेप्टर मे बी इन द शेप ऑफ ट्राइंगल, स्क्वायर, सर्कल, जो भी है, ठीक है, बट दैट रिसेप्टर फॉर्मेशन, ओके, lymphocyte receptor, T lymphocyte receptor takes place only when there is change in the configuration of the DNA which is present in the precursor T lymphocyte। जब वो चेंज हो जाता है तो उस सेल के ऊपर, ठीक है, प्रोटीन्स के दो स्ट्रक्चर फॉर्म होते हैं, दे आर नोन एज CD8 एंड CD4। ओके, these proteins which are present on these precursor cells, they are responsible and they combine with another important protein that is known as MHC or major histocompatibility complex। Okay, when these precursor cells undergo these configurational changes, okay, and they pass through a test that these cells which are having CD8 and CD4 proteins attached to it, and they are able to fight and they will be surviving and going further of number of changes जो आप आगे की क्लास में पढ़ोगे, ठीक है। तो वो सिलेक्शन करने के बाद में इनको पॉजिटिव सिलेक्शन और नेगेटिव सिलेक्शन, if the lymphocyte pass through this test, they are considered as positive selection. So they will further progress and result into the formation of different types of T lymphocytes. If they fail this test and go to the negative side, okay, there will be apoptosis of these T precursor lymphocytes. So positive selection and negative selection. How does it take place? With the help of change in the DNA, okay, configuration, slight change in the DNA configuration with the help of FAB proteins, with the help of CD8, CD4 proteins, with the combination of major histocompatibility complex, okay, and further processing takes place that will result into positive selection and negative selection. If there is negative selection, the cell will go for apoptosis. If there is positive selection, the cell will go for further maturation and classification of T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes now they are categorized into T helper cells, natural killer cells, okay, and regulator cells. If there is problem in this functioning of the T cell, okay, if there is problem in the T regulator cells, what will happen? The person will have autoimmune disorders. If there will be problem in the helper cells, CD4 के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है, ठीक है, और ये सब अपन किसके लिए भी चेक करते हैं जब ऑर्गन ट्रांसप्लांट किए जाते हैं, मेजर हिस्टोकम्पैटिबिलिटी टेस्ट करा जाता है ना। तो ये मेजर हिस्टोकम्पैटिबिलिटी कहाँ से आया? बिकॉज ऑफ द चेंज इन द कन्फिगरेशन, वेयर द कन्फिगरेशन इज चेंजिंग टेक्स प्लेस in the thymus gland with the help of what? With the help of thymosin and the other chemicals which are getting secreted. इसकी स्लीप वेक साइकिल देखो, है ना। चलो कम से कम लेक्चर एक काम तो कर रहा है कि आपको नींद दिला रहा है, एक प्रोडक्टिव काम है ये भी, है ना। At least you are away from the social media and you are having some productive work. नींद आ रही है, चलो कुछ तो अच्छा आ रहा है। Okay, so the location is, it is located into the anterior mediastinum. अब क्यों निकाला मोबाइल? साइलेंट भी करने की क्या जरूरत है आपको? मतलब आपका सारा फोकस तो उसमें चला गया। पहले आपका फोकस स्पैन था 3 hours लॉन्ग मूवी, ओके, फिर फोकस शिफ्ट हो गया शॉर्ट मूवीज पे, अब फोकस आ गया रील्स पे। तो आपका अटेंशन स्पैन इज ओनली फॉर 2 to 3 minutes, not more than that. Okay, it is not only spoiling the biological phenomena, but it is spoiling each and every what you have in this age will never come back. This media, social media, everything will be there. इससे भी ज्यादा चीजें बढ़ जाएंगी, पर जो अगर इस एज में नहीं सीखा ना तो वो नहीं सीख सकते बात। तुम चाहे कितना भी YouTube वीडियोस देख लो, your copies are pathetic, your manuals are pathetic. After seeing from a book, what you write is pathetic. अगर कोई रियल एग्जामिनर चाहते ना तो 250 में से 50 भी पास नहीं होंगे. Pathetic is the word which we can use. Is there any need to laugh? क्या हुआ पार्थ? आपस में कुछ डिस्कशन का मैंने कुछ पॉइंट दिया था क्या? Structure, it is a bilobed organ. Okay. Cortex mainly contains the immature T cells and thymic epithelial cells which support T cell development. Medulla is responsible for maturation of these cells. Okay, and stroma cells, they are responsible for the microcell environment which gives it. Supports the maturation of T cells, undergo positive selection, ensuring that only T cells recognizing self-MHC molecules are allowed to mature, which are not passing through this test will result into apoptosis or negative selection. Thymocytes undergo negative selection, eliminating autoreactive T cells to prevent autoimmune reactions. Okay. Hormones and their regulatory roles, thymosin, thymopoietin and thymulin. It plays a role in T cell development. It is involved in T cell differentiation and the regulation of lymphocytic activity. Thymulin modulates T cell function, includes cytotoxicity, proliferation and cytokine production. What happens to the lymphocyte after it passes this positive selection from the thymus gland? Yes. After the T precursor lymphocyte passes the selection criteria, and if they are in the positive selection criteria, okay, what will happen to these T lymphocytes? All the process which has to take place in the thymus gland has been completed. Proliferation, maturation, everything. What will happen to this after all the process of lymphocyte has been done? Now they are natural killer cells, regulator cells, helper cells. Now what will happen to these lymphocytes? Next. With the bone marrow and the thymus gland, they are considered to be the primary lymphatic organs. After completing of their maturation cycle, these lymphocytes or the T lymphocytes will go to the secondary lymphoid organs. What are the different secondary lymphoid organs? नेक्स्ट हो गया. और वो तो फर्स्ट ने बोल दिया. और sit down. Thymus gland development and aging. Grows rapidly during childhood, reaches its peak size and functions during adolescence. Okay. So if there is not functioning of this thymus gland during the childhood, what will happen? The person will be prone to the infections. Okay. The person will be prone to infections. Involution occurs with age, leading to decreased T cell production and immune function declines. Implication contributes to increased susceptibility to infections and malignancies in older individuals. These are the different disorders. Okay, Digeorge syndrome is a genetic disorder characterized by thymic aplasia leading to severe immunodeficiency. So you might get a MCQ on this particular syndrome. What is Digeorge syndrome? So it is related to the thymus gland functioning. Okay, thymoma, these are the tumors. Hyperplasia is an abnormal enlargement of the thymus. खड़े हो खड़े हो लास्ट रो हाँ आ जाओ इधर आ जाओ गेट योर मोबाइल एंड कम एंड स्टैंड आ जाओ अच्छा आप आगे आ जाइए डोंट आर्ग्यू thymus gland and autoimmune disorders. Some of the autoimmune disorders, okay, they may be myasthenia gravis, thymo-related autoimmunity and thymectomy. Okay. हाँ वहाँ खड़े हो जाइए. Impact of stress and environment of thymus gland, stress hormones, infections and nutrition. क्या टाइम हो गया? Okay, future perspective of this gland in physiology is it may help in the aging, technological advances and personalized medicine.